Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Slant.
Slant. What's up, everybody?
Slant.
Whoa.
All right, Paul, let's go.
Huge show for you guys. Huge show for you guys. Okay, Cameron's going to be with us in a minute. We have four scoops to go over with Mr. Pasha just on Star Wars. But before we do that, I'm going to go over our calendar of events. I'm putting this up right now. Today's membership goal, okay? 5. We need 5 new members. Gift them right now. Send them right now. Earn them. Love them. Get them on right now. 5 new members I want to see right now. I'll be back in a few minutes. Enjoy the countdown. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm back. So, like I said, Cameron is coming up right now. Everyone that just came through Midnight's Edge, there's over 80 of you guys. Say hello right now. Do me a favor, smash the like, share the link, comment. Let's get this going. We got 20 seconds left, and I'll be right back. We're going to jump right in it after I go over our calendar of the day. Be right back.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's happening, everybody? Polly here on the Latino Slant. If you're coming from Midnight's Edge, thank you all so much. That was a lot of fun. I always try to get on there every Friday for like the last hour or so. Listen, let me tell you guys something. We've been growing. It's been getting crazy. A couple of hundred in the past week. That for us is big, and we're seeing it grow. We're seeing the videos that you guys are liking from Cameron, our videos that we're doing, political, pop culture stuff. I know what you guys like, just trying to give it to you more and more. Speaking of, we got a new member really fast. That's 1 out of 4. 1 out of 4 new memberships. I want 5, right? So we get 4 more. Samuel Main gifted 1 Latino Slant membership. That is dope. Thank you so much. Let's go over this calendar really fast. Calendar of events that we have going on for October. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be on Scribe Light talking about the Menendez miniseries that I really enjoyed. There's a lot going on with that. I'll be on there tomorrow. This Monday, filmmaker Kenneth Castillo. Next Tuesday night, City of God membership-only watch party with Paul Chato. We've been working on this one for a while. It's a members-only event. So, you know, we love doing these things for you guys, okay? Also, too, coming up on that next Friday after, in a week, Michelle of Force of Light Entertainment, going to talk politics, going to talk pop. Then, in 2 weeks, we have this fantastic Latina Republican influencer called Martha Bueno on X. She's coming on. That is fantastic as well. That now, on the 20th, we have a special stream. What's going on is that morning or night, I'm going to drive on over to Las Vegas, and I'm going to do a live podcast from the Salty Nerd podcast with the boys and Nadia and some other special guests. That's going to be a lot of fun. Finally, I want to do this early. Let you guys know we're going to have a music concert, Dia de los Muertos, November 2nd, Saturday evening for Dia de los Muertos. In honor of Dia de los Muertos, guests and times are subject to change. There is your schedule. Again, let's thank all the members and for hanging out with us. We got 1 gifted membership from Samuel. ¿Qué más? We have Sandra, do me a favor and just, if you can, help out because we don't have another wrench here for a while. So just if you can just check things out. But let's say hello to the members of the channel, Osvaldo, D-Bud. Look at all these people, all these new people here. I love it. You got the Raiders, got over 100 people here, man. Ben, what's up, Ben? How are you, man? I saw you in the Midnight's Edge chat. That's cool. Mike's Loves Cats, Liam. So again, I'm looking for 4 more memberships. We have, listen, we're just going to go into it because I have some pop and political non-Star Wars stories. I'm going to push them all to the end because I want to get this man in here right now. And we're going to talk about not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 different news items that I saw in his latest amazing post on his Patreon. And we're going to talk. You guys know him. You guys love him. It's the man. Where's he at? Kamran Pasha. What's up, everybody? Woo-hoo.
Hola, hermano. Hola, hermanos. In the chat, I was just greeting some people directly in the chat. It's always wonderful to be here, and you know, as you said at the top of the program, this channel is just exploding, and new members coming on, and you know, all kinds of new interesting people that you're bringing in. Now you're bringing in politics, which I think is very important in this particular year, because I think people don't understand the politics that is within the Latino community, and I think people need to hear that as well as the entertainment stuff. So it's great to be on as always.
Well, listen. Even some Latino celebrities don't understand Latino politics. So we're
well, their audience isn't the Latino community. When they start talking about stuff, their audience is Hollywood executives.
If we're a beacon of light, we're going to be a beacon of light. And we just love seeing all these cool people. AOR Entertainment, Corion, Ramban, Stephanie. What's up, Stephanie? Member of the channel, Liam. Hello there. What's up, Liam? I love it. I love it. Okay. So, man, I know you're on limited time with us. What do you say?
I got to strict out before 12:30. So
let me just say right now, if you guys want to ask a question pertaining to what Kamran is about to divulge and entertain and talk to us about, super chats are amazing. We love them. Let's go to the first one of the day. Scoop 1. Jon Favreau is planning to bring in Cal Kestis.
Yeah. So let me give context for this.
Let's go back.
So, so I got contacted by my insider inside of Disney/Lucasfilm, who I codenamed Sparrow. They contact me when they contact me. I don't chase them unless something major is happening. And this was an unexpected contact that came yesterday with a download of information that's very specific, more specific than they have been in the past. And this is stuff that is that I have to be careful how I phrase this. Let's just say this is stuff that's not rumor. This is stuff that they've been able to confirm is at least being said by Jon Favreau within the office. Now, whether all these things are going to pan out, we will see. But these are things that Mr. Favreau has apparently said in front of multiple people who've been able to confirm it. And so, I'm sharing with this download information that happened, and I put it all out yesterday. I spent pretty much the entire afternoon writing it up, and I had other work to do, but I did it. And so the very first thing that they revealed, because this whole context of information is and this is the big ringer around all of this, the umbrella to go into this scoop here, which is that Mr. Favreau has been talking in the Lucasfilm office, openly using the phrase "the post-Kennedy era."
Right, that's what I wanted to bring up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and people are like, what does that mean, boss? And yeah, he is the boss, whether he has a title or not. Titles and corporate structures don't mean anything in Hollywood, right? It's who's the person that you turn to in the room that you listen to when they start talking, and he's that guy. So what do you mean by that, boss? Post Kennedy, or what are we doing, right? And so this is what he's telling people. Apparently, is that number one is that the plan that he is setting in motion, he's the plan maker right now of the future of Star Wars and of Lucasfilm. The plan is to bring in Cal Kestis. Now, I have not played these games, but they're very, very popular games which Cal has featured. And on my Patreon, people have been theorizing and asking and like, hey, when's Cal going to be brought in? I was like, who's Cal, right? Because I just wasn't familiar with the game, right? So I didn't know how to answer that. And then I was like, when I got my guy, I was like, who's Cal again? And I was like, then they explained it to me. I was like, oh, okay, all right, this is pretty big. So as those of you know that, he's in this sort of Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Order games that have been out. There's been 2 games that were released, and they're essentially a survivor. Cal Kestis is a survivor of Order 66, and is off having some adventures with a Night Sister, while the Empire is hunting him down. And so this character is still around in the timeline that Jon Favreau has in the post-downfall of the Empire world that he's been building with the Mandalorian, etc. And so their current plan is, and again, it can change today, but as of yesterday, the plan that was being talked about in the office is to bring Cal Kestis in as a character, significant character, in the second half of Ahsoka Season 2. So, Ahsoka Season 2 will begin. They'll have its story and adventures. Ahsoka is trapped, I guess, in the Southern Galaxy. So I'm sure she's going to have to get back to our galaxy. And in the second half, they're brought in. And so yeah. So, and so you're bringing up my Patreon there, but that's exactly it. So,
let's read a little bit. Let's read a little bit. You said, according to Sparrow, which you're saying Sparrow on the most part is usually sooner or later, Sparrow's stuff comes out to be.
Well, no, it often comes true later, and you have to endure a lot of like, it's full of crap. There's no Sparrow. I have to listen to a lot of crap from people, but eventually it comes true. I mean, I've talked about it last week how Sparrow had said when Daisy Ridley had announced or was forced to go up on stage and announce her movie at Celebration, Sparrow's like, nobody in the office knows what this is about. What the hell is this? Only the inner circle. Kennedy seems to know anything about this, and then people are like, it's just crap, blah 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 blah. Your source isn't real. And then 7 months later, 9 months later, you have Daisy Ridley saying in an interview, I didn't know anything about this. I was just brought up on the stage. I was told about it the last second. And she confirmed every single thing Sparrow said to me, right? And so sometimes you have to endure garbage with people who just don't believe you until months go by. And of course, they're just saying negativity, so they don't even remember what they said. But this is, this is something that they are very confident that Favreau is saying around the office because multiple people have heard it. Right, it's not one. So person.
Let's read a little bit of it. Yeah. The storyline Jon is currently playing with is Cal's going on an artifact hunt with his Night Sister partner, who opposes what Thrawn and the other Night Sisters are doing. So it appears that Merrin is scheduled to appear as well. Favreau's
so Merrin is the Night Sister sort of girlfriend,
right? The Night Sister,
right. Yeah.
Currently, Favreau's plan is to begin working on it after the Mando and Grogu film is finished and the third Jedi Fallen Order game is done. So
timing wise, so that seems to indicate, and I actually had a conversation with Sparrow on this. Like, wait, so what does this mean for when is Ahsoka getting released, right? And they're saying, look, based on the current plan appears to be to have Cal show up in Ahsoka at around the same time as the third video game is released. Makes sense from a commercial point of view. You want to promote the character, and people go, "Oh, I didn't know this character. There's a game. I can go buy a game." Right? You want to parallel them, and so but right now, all of Jon's focus creatively is getting this Mandalorian Grogu movie because he knows this is the resurrect Star Wars moments, like the title of your video. This is the resurrection. If this movie don't work, there's no resurrection. There's
no right. So. Timeline.
You got to get this right. So he's like, and that movie is released in 2026.
Mando's 26.
So the idea is that Ahsoka Season 2, or at least the section of Ahsoka Season 2 where Cal shows up, won't appear until after that movie.
Till after that. Gotcha. Okay.
And then the video game is timed. And I did some research, and the video game is timed for late 2026, early 2027. I've worked on a video game for 50 Cent. Those dates can move around a bit, but it fits in the time frame.
Okay. Anything else you found interesting in regards to this Cal?
Well, it leads into the bigger issue, which we're going to talk about, which I think maybe we can go into the next scoop, which is, so what does this mean? So he's showing up in Ahsoka. Well, what does it mean for these other characters, right? You got Ahsoka is a, people have said is a very heavy Dave Filoni oriented show. Ahsoka is a Dave Filoni created character. You've got all these Rebels characters like Sabine, Ezra, all these people that a lot of people hadn't watched Rebels, didn't know what the hell was going on, right? And so, but they are Dave Filoni's babies, right? His children, and he wants to promote them. And so what is the future of that? And so this is important. Scoop 2, the second season, Ahsoka season, will mark a kind of swan song for the Rebels characters, which is what apparently the plan that Favreau has told Filoni. And I mean, Filoni, these are his babies. He wants to put them everywhere. And Favreau's like, no, this is what we're going to do. We're going to start pulling back on these, lovely as they are, we're going to start pulling back on these Rebels characters you created. They're going to start leaving the shows, right? And we'll pepper them in the future movies so that you'll get your characters. But we want to start bringing in other characters like Cal, right? That have shown very strong commercial viability, right? And I've talked on my Patreon and on this channel that will also include reintroducing Luke, Leia, and Han, right? Jon is thinking, what does the audience really want? So let's start bringing those characters back in. So if you want to read some of that,
I'm sorry.
Do you want to read that? Do you want to read that paragraph so it appears?
The second one, so it appears that we will be saying goodbye to Sabine and friends on the TV front, although these characters will continue to be peppered into Star Wars films. Sparrow says that Jon Favreau has told Dave Filoni that it is time to move away from the characters that were developed under the Kennedy regime, even ones that were personally meaningful to Dave.
Again, that goes back to the post-Kennedy era, which is the phrase Favreau is using in The Office, right? To signal to people that we are entering this era, right? Which brings in the question of, when or if we're ever going to get official announcement of her gone. Certainly the psychology is we're in a post-era. And some people say, well, and there is a lot of debate, who has the real power? And Luke, is it Filoni? It's Favreau. I mean, I've met Mr. Filoni. He's a very successful guy. He's a nice person, at least from the one meeting I had with him a decade ago, right? But and I got this, and I've said this, and I've got the vibe from that one meeting where I didn't get the job. I was up for a job on what would become Clone Wars. It hadn't been launched yet. I was up for a job as one of the writers in that day. I didn't get it, but it was nice to meet him. And I got the vibe that he's very much a company man, right? He's somebody that's a survivor. He knows how to play the Hollywood political game, and surviving years inside of Lucasfilm, then inside of Disney and all this stuff, and having mentors like George, and at the same time placating Kathy, who doesn't get along with George. He survived all of it. So he's not going to go argue with Jon about this. Yes, these are his babies. People say, well, but he wants Sabine, blah, blah, blah. He wants Ezra. He's like, no, okay, that's great. Can I put him in this other movie? Can we throw Ezra in for a couple of scenes in that movie? Yeah, fine. He knows how to survive because he's a company man, right? He's a perfect guy for Disney because he knows where his bread is buttered, and he just doesn't create problems. So whoever's in charge, he goes along with it while keeping his own personal creative objectives in mind. That's why people don't understand why he survives along with Kathleen Kennedy. He's like he doesn't fight her. He doesn't argue with her. She says, go speak to that feminist woman's brunch about how empowered Rey is. He goes up and does it. And then the fans get angry that he's a Kathleen Kennedy guy. He's like, he's just doing his job so he don't get fired. And Jon Favreau's like, we're going to start edging out your characters and get rid of them, right? Or not get rid of them, sort of minimize them in TV, put them in the movies, which are a few years apart, right? So, but you'll still see them. He's not going to fight with Jon about that. He's like, great, boss, whatever you want to do, right? And so, and we have got this. Sparrow said that the general plan going forward is that the older characters will stay on long enough on live action TV shows to cement new TV characters. So they'll serve as a bridge, right? And then they go into locked for movies only mode. And there's an intelligence to this. People have been saying that the correct way, at least I've been saying, I don't know, people I've been saying, the correct way to have done the Disney sequels to introduce Rey, Poe, Finn, those characters would have been to make the first movie, Force Awakens, about our heroes, Luke, Leia, and Han, and introducing these guys, right, as the next generation. And you see them supporting characters with our heroes, and you see the torch being passed over the course of a trilogy to these other three, right? That is the correct way that you do the transition to a new generation of characters. That is not how it was done, right? It was done upside down and didn't work. Whereas Jon is like, look, I've got characters in mind. I've got stuff I want to do. People like Cal Kestis we want to bring in. So let's use the existing characters. Sabine and Ahsoka will be an instrument to bring in Cal Kestis. And then they will move along. And then Cal Kestis will bring in other people. It's just how that works. That's how you do it correctly.
Let's pause for a second. Everyone, huge crowd, over 150 people with us. Kamran Pasha slinging some scoops with us. We're in the middle of the second of 4 scoops, which is really cool. Thank you, Kamran, for being here with us. Thank you to the mods, Sander, D-Bud. We do have a poll going on in the chat. I just put it up. Here it is. Are you excited for Cal Kestis Star Wars? One so far, you got 15 votes. 58% say yes. It's moving around. Number 1, that's the first choice. 2, no. Night Sister twists. 3, maybe love to games. 4, we got Cali Man at home. Okay, so just vote, guys. That is fantastic. And thank you, D-Bud, and thank you, Sander, for helping us out. Again, want to remind you guys we're still in a membership.
Mhm.
What is it called? Challenge. Membership challenge. I want 5. We've gotten 1 new member. I want 4 more to be gifted or to be earned. Listen, you guys, we just put up a new membership video a couple of days ago, where only you guys who are members can watch our takedown. Me and Rosa Parra went to Joker 2, and we were very honest. Spoiler, non-spoilers video for you guys. I think a lot of people are enjoying it, but it's members only. We do that about once a week as far as members only's videos. Okay, so yeah. What's up, Pete? What's up, Pete? Got another. I love it. Yes, membership drive. Thank you. It's always tough when like your right arm isn't here, as far as Fletcher Williams not being here yet. So yeah, he'll be here soon. Okay, let us unpause.
When we go on to the next scoop, we can keep going where this is going, right? Because we talk about how these characters are gonna move into film. So let's talk about what the plan is for the films. Right?
Scoop 3. After the Mando film is released, next up, dun dun dun, is the Thrawn film. What are you talking about?
So wow, it's been kind of lost in all the what's coming stuff, yeah. But the plan, apparently, my understanding is Thrawn is going to be an adversary in the Mando film, right? And but so there's a Thrawn film being planned, and from months ago, it seems to be that this is the beginning of some version of an heir to the Empire arc, right? Whether it's it will likely be different from the books, but but there is some reference that feels like that's where this is going. And I believe, we had that actor just came out, said that there's a Thrawn trilogy being planned, right? That, my source didn't say anything about a trilogy, but it's kind of implied that after this Thrawn is going to be the significant sort of engine of Star Wars villainy for moving forward. And so, if he shows up as a villain in Mando and then has an entire film dedicated to him, that entire film seems to be heir to the Empire-esque vibe, right? Of him.
The timeline would be that, right? Yeah. Let's pause because I want to talk about the potential timelines and something that you had said last month. Let's read some of this now for you guys. And now for some big news on the movie front. After the Mando film is released, let's say it's successful, next up is the Thrawn film. And Sparrow says that the current plan is that the Thrawn movie will be an Avengers type film, bringing together old, new, and some future characters, creating a post-Kennedy era of storytelling. Sparrow says that Jon Favreau is using the term post-Kennedy era around the office, signaling to employees that they should get ready for the change. Okay, so I'm looking at this, right? And of course, it is a big reveal.
Yeah.
For this to be successful, because I'm pretty knowledgeable of the heir to the Empire, the 3 books. So
sure, good books.
The characters, right, at that time are still, that would be like what, 10 years after Return of the Jedi?
It was 5, if I recall. It was 5 in the book. It was 5 years after the destruction of Death Star 2 on Endor. That's what I think.
Between 5 and 10, but either way, what I'm getting at is that Han, Luke, and Leia are pretty heavily involved in the storylines. So that's one thing, right? And then what you were telling me last month in regards to CGI,
that's the current plan is to CGI.
There's only so much you can do until you're going to need some. I am really curious to see how they're going to pull that off because they are so involved. Also, too, old and new characters. I mean, the old new characters are Mando and Grogu, however they're involved. Ahsoka was not in the Thrawn books, obviously, and some of these other rebel characters. So it's going to be interesting. We say Avenger type, or when Sparrow says Avenger type of film, that's a lot of writing in regards to adding these characters, because you also have some new characters, old new characters that are from the book. Obviously Thrawn,
You got the Nogri creatures. I mean, you've got Mara Jade if she were to come back. I know my good friend in the chat is saying there's no Mara Jade. There's no point. I don't know that there's no Mara Jade. I haven't heard anything about that. I think the smart thing would be to bring Mara Jade back in.
So my question to you is, and I know this is all you got as far as this is great info, right? This is great, fantastic, scoop here. As a writer, now let's just be creative.
Yeah.
How would you pull this off? If you're Favreau, if you're Filoni, like, look, we got this very popular trilogy books that were done in the 90s. Then we got everything that we've worked on. How can we put it all together, Cameron? How can this even be reality?
So let's say that we stick to a close rendering of the novel story. Let's say that this was brought to me. Let's say Jon Favreau. My understanding is there's some people asking, well, who's going to? My understanding, Jon Favreau is writing this, and so he knows what he's doing, right? And even if he weren't to write this, then he supervises it, and he's a good judgment call and good storytelling, unlike Ms. Kennedy and others, right? And so even if Filoni or someone else were hired to write it, Favreau would be the final say. I know he's definitely writing the Mando movie. That's been announced, right? But whoever writes the Thrawn movie. So let's say they called me, Kamran Pasha, John wants you to write this movie, and he's giving you this general thing. We want to bring in what you're saying, bring in these new characters, elements from the original book that people want. How do you make that work? Well, then what I would do it as is I would play it from the point of view of the existing Favreau-verse characters, the Mandalorian, assuming he and Grogu are still around. I think they will be. The Ahsoka and Sabine cast, right? So that's basically what we've got here. Maybe Boba Fett, who kind of got screwed, right? But whatever. So those existing Favreau-verse, we would see them reacting or dealing with the events of Heir to the Empire, which is Thrawn's, potentially allying with a Jorah Sabaoth, type of evil, dark Jedi master or clone, whatever the hell he was, and launching deep attack into the New Republic, and then they're dealing with it. And so you're seeing it from their point of view, as it's sort of the other characters of the story that you didn't see in the books, how they were dealing with the events that happened, right? And Thrawn's various machinations. And then you would because I don't think you can, if you're just CGI and not putting new actors in, it's probably too expensive to make Luke, Leia, and Han the focus of that movie, right? But then you then collide the existing Favreau-verse characters with the Luke, Leia, Han storyline of how they're dealing with Thrawn in that book, and that's how you do it. And then you bring Mara Jade in through that. That's what I would do if that was the directive I was given. So yeah, I don't know if that's helpful.
Listen, I'm just throwing a creative what if to you because it's fascinating. Because there's a lot of us that are huge Heir to the Empire fans. I mean, it's one of the books that I have on audio, listen to once a week. I mean, in the background, I'm just like, wow, how are they going to blend any of that? And we're not saying that this is going to be, maybe they'll be inspired by at the end of the day. They'll take elements from Heir to the Empire. What I do know, here's my other feeling is that I'm not a fan of the live action actor that played Thrawn.
Yeah, that seems to be the sentiment in the in the chat as well. I think maybe actors. I think a good actor. Maybe he's a little older and maybe could have lost a little bit of weight for the role. But I think it was more about we haven't yet gotten to the full writing of Thrawn, and I think he can pull it off of given the full writing. So we have to get there.
I was gonna say that. For it to be a Thrawn, for like an OG Thrawn, we're gonna have to write the Heir to the Empire Thrawn is right there, and what I saw in the Ahsoka Thrawn was, kind of like a bumbling Thrawn. I was turned off like the episode after. His entrance was cool, but that was about it. So, but listen, this is how do you feel about this, man? This is pretty exciting, bro.
I mean, for me, I'm excited. Again, I've said this before. I tend to give a lot of leeway to people like Jon Favreau and even Filoni they're doing the best they can in a corporate environment that I've worked in at Disney, that I got fired from in 6 months because I was too independent minded and too confrontational about things that weren't working. And that's not how you do things there, right? You just accept things, aren't working well, and you survive, right? You don't worry about anything else more than your personal survival, right? Hopefully you're visionary like John, who's like, okay, I'm going to survive and have a longer term plan, and Filoni's like that too. So, I give them more leeway as a creative, because I've seen how the soup is made, and I just seen what's happening, how difficult it is to get anything good made in general in Hollywood, much less place at Disney, right? Which I experienced. That it is impossible. I watched when I was working as the head writer on the Thrawn Uprising series, which you can also watch on Disney Plus, right? I kept having like, okay, brilliant, everyone's great. This is how we're gonna do it, and then some random person I didn't even know down the system killed the storyline, killed the character, killed this and that. Like, well, what the hell do we do now? We got to start over. And it was constant scrambling to fix things that were being sunk by random people inside the system that I don't even know who the hell they were at times, right? Which is what I became confrontational about. I was like, why are we letting this person dictate what we're doing, right? Oh, you can't confront them. You're out, right? So I am very patient and flexible with the quality level that Favreau has been able to produce. Some people, a lot of it's been great. Some people were not, happy with other parts of it, like Boba Fett, like season 3 of Mando. And again, I could see the internal political chaos in those environments that they were trying to deal with, Gina Carano's firing and how that screwed up the whole plan. So I went through stuff like that on Thrawn, right? And you're desperately scrambling all the time. You're trying to make it work. And then you sit there and you made it work. You survived. And then the fans aren't happy because they have no idea the perfect version that you had. They never got to see it, right? Because that didn't survive the stupid process of Disney, right? So I'm happy with it. Will it end up being perfect? It won't be. But that's the creative process of Hollywood, right? If you want perfection, you just go write your book. I'm a novelist too, right? That way you can be happy. I mean, that nobody's interfering with your book. Read your, write your book. The audience loves your book. But when you're dealing with Hollywood, you're dealing with a mass group of people inputting, often people that don't know what the hell they're doing, screwing up your process. And if you can make something decent out of that, then you have something to be proud of, because it's impossible for people to survive. Most of the people, critics, wouldn't survive. I survived 6 months at Disney. Most of the people who grumble about what Favreau has produced couldn't survive 24 hours there. They'd be fired immediately, right? They wouldn't be able to do it. So I give him a lot of leeway. I'm excited for this material. I think, especially because at some point Miss Kennedy is going to be officially out. I mean, I've long maintained for at least a year now, since the failure of Indiana Jones, that her power has been completely cut, right? And she hasn't even been in the office, right? And so she's still not in the office. So she's an absentee landlord, at least with the title of a landlord. And that's why, you've got people like Favreau running around saying things like the post-Kennedy era, because there's nobody to correct them.
No, I get that. And let's put a pause on that. We got some good comments.
Yeah.
And
we got some super chats.
And before we get to your last scoop, we'll also bring in our producer. Fletcher is finally with us. ¿Qué pasó, hombre?
Hey, what's up?
Welcome.
I don't know if you guys can. Oh, you guys can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh yeah, sound good. All right. Well, we got a super chat. The C-Man for $5. Thank you guys so much. We love super chats. I know Cameron hates this question, but any info on how they deal with the Horde sequels that loom in the future?
Well, I mean, I'm having this conversation again on my Patreon. Most people are kind of believe me, but not everyone on my Patreon believes me. And some people remain of the opinion that everything is leading to the sequels. That's why I'm out. Well, first of all, before I answer how they deal with it, let's say I answer the why of it. And I haven't been able to get a good answer why. One that why would Jon Favreau want to build to the sequels? Just on a personal level. Does he have any emotional investment in them? Did he develop them? Is he a friend of Kathleen Kennedy's? Is he someone that feels invested in this outcome? I don't think anyone can objectively say that he has any personal investment in that storyline, right? And that I think it's fair to say that most people, even if they don't like everything he's done, will say that he's clearly a fan. Mm-hmm. So as a fan, does anyone really believe he thinks those movies were good? I mean, the reason that he came there, this is how I got introduced to YouTube in the first place, is I think it was on Jeremy and Geeks and Gamers, was interviewed 3 years ago, whatever, because I had talked to a mutual friend of mine who is one of Jon Favreau's big crew members that does all of his movies, right? Goes from movie to movie, one of his keys, right? And that guy just before the pandemic, we were having lunch, and this person was telling me, you know why John has asked to come back. John has come back into Disney. He asked to do it, right? To come in to Star Wars, is that apparently, as I was saying, he's like, when he saw how bad the sequels were, he's like, he reached out to Iger and said, look, man, I can help you fix this. This is the wrong track. And that's what I've been saying for 3 years. That was told to me by a friend who works with him directly, right? That he volunteered to come into the shooting range of Lucasfilm to try to fix it because he didn't like the sequels. So I don't the why would he want to build the sequels? No one has been able to answer to me aside from an emotional thing. Well, he's trapped inside of Disney. Well, does Iger want to build them? Iger knows this didn't make him the money he wants. Is he invested in them? Is Dana?
So unless you have a one-on-one conversation with them, there's not anything substantive.
Yeah, I mean,
and as there shouldn't be.
So, right. so there's no answer to why. So no one can tell me why they would build to the sequels. This group of people. Number one, there's no answer, and there's no believable answer. So number two, the how, at least as of now, remains the vehicle that they finally introduced, which I said they were going to introduce, which is the world between worlds. I was saying it about a year and a half before, almost 2 years before we saw in Ahsoka the world between worlds. We saw Anakin in the world between worlds, right? We actually saw it. And a friend of mine who's a very, very successful screenwriter, God bless him, I hope to get to his level of success, who's close with all of these people, right? Was told to me 2 years ago, is like, John's plan, John and Dave's plan is to use the world between worlds to erase the timeline, to create our alternative timelines where the events of the sequels don't happen, right? Told me that 2 years ago. But people are like, there's no world between worlds. Well, guess what? The world between worlds has appeared. It's appeared, right? So now it's an instrument you can use to change the timeline, right? So it's there, and that is the most effective, simple way. And already, I would suggest there are things that don't fit the Star Wars, the sequel timeline that are already there. Number one, we have Grogu is the first student of Luke Skywalker. We saw that in the Mando show. We saw it, right? We saw it, and in the official narrative of the sequels. Ben Solo was the first student. So that's not what happened. Already that's changed. Ben Solo doesn't even exist right now. But Grogu is the first student. He's been taught. He may have left, but he was taught, right? Just like Ben Solo left Luke, right? So that's not in the sequel timeline. And then we also saw in the feature film, we for those who watch it, The Rise of Skywalker, during the Force Ghost voiceovers, where everyone's like, we support you, Rey. Fight the Sith, right? Whose voice is in there? Anakin's voice is in there, and then guess whose voice shows up, right? It's Ahsoka's voice is in there, right? And suggesting she's dead, but she's not dead. So, where's this, right? So the timeline already, they've been quietly, and it's not like Kennedy thinks out the timeline. They peppered these things in there so you don't notice. Somebody like Kennedy isn't going to care that deeply to notice these things got into the shows, because she isn't following this timeline very closely, apparently no more than the fans are. So already they're on a different track, and that's how they're going to do it. You're just going to keep pushing and pushing away. The idea that this is going to build to those garbage sequels, there's no reason to say that. There's no rationality to it. There's no business reason for it. And no one can give me an answer to that except for I'm angry at Star Wars, and that's what they're going to do.
Okay, all right. I'm not going to play the other side, but I'm just going to say, you know what? Wait and see.
Wait and see. Okay, sure. You're not doing this.
I'm going to wait.
I'm happy to see the rationale in the chat.
I've always had reserve. What's that?
I'd be happy to see those who believe everything's leading to the sequels share with me the economic and personal rationale in the chat, and then you'll have had your say.
I'm just gonna be like, keep my hope reserved. I'm not a economy of hope Harris supporter. I'm kidding, guys. All right, let's talk. Let's go back to the Heir of the Empire ideas, and there's some Thrawn casting ideas here. Jamie Retief, Fletcher. Do we know Jamie Retief is a member of the channel? James?
That's a new one to me. Good. Thank you for joining.
Hey, thank you for joining. An Heir to the Empire movie would certainly be a new Star Wars timeline. It's simply not compatible with the sequels. Well, it's also, it doesn't have to be, because it's completely different timelines. So it's simply not compatible. Well, we kind of, you're right, Jamie, you're right. John 42, John Hamm would be a great Thrawn. Yeah, he would rock. I love John Hamm. Stephanie says Jeremy Irons.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner's good. He'd be good for that. Yeah.
He's getting a little old, but it's just the makeup, you know. Because that Thrawn is like, yeah, I mean, he could absolutely. He's a great actor. Yes, if you want to follow Cameron, please follow Cameron. Latest news on Hollywood.
You can argue with me about this stuff on my Patreon, which people are doing.
Yeah,
so argue me there.
Well, you get so involved with the chat people, which is great. So all I ask in the chat is be respectful, and let's have some good, passionate Star Wars discussion. D-Bud, exactly. Wait and see. Liam's, it takes to rebuild a city. It takes a while. Takes some time.
Yeah, it takes time to rebuild the city. You don't do it from the ground up. It takes a while. Like
you've been nuked. Yeah,
absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
This is Hiroshima we're dealing with here. Okay.
Right.
So, I agree. We got some super chats. We also have over 150 people watching us combined. Our biggest Friday live stream ever with Mr. Kamran Pasha. Horseradish power for €5.
Oh, European hell. Yeah.
Okay,
those look like 5 pounds. 5 pounds.
5 pounds. How to get rid of the sequels? Make them be crappy films released in the New Republic. Bad fiction in the Star Wars universe. Problem solved.
Yeah, I mean, just at some point, they just become what they did, unfortunately, to the extended universe. Just they become fan fiction, right? They become an alternative timeline, and that I think is inevitable.
Horseradish, thank you so much for the super chats. We're gonna make a list of all the people that are super chatting and new members, and we'll get that ticker going on as well. The Seaman comes back with $10.
Oh well, thank you.
Appreciate the discussion. One last question: are we finally done with diversity and dinosaurs nonsense? Those people gone yet?
Well, if you've been following my Patreon for the last year and a half, I've consistently published when those people are gone. And because people aren't following the news, last year there was a wave of all the DEI people being fired at Disney and all the other studios. It was one after the other over a period of several weeks, right? And I published all that on my Patreon. So, and your people are like, well, DEI is still around. No, DEI still in your mind is around because you're watching, garbage like, The Acolyte, which was created by the DEI mindset. But that is outside of the normal Hollywood system, right? I mean, it's doing its own thing, right? It has nothing to, and look how disastrously it landed. And to the point that even you had the Hollywood Reporter this week put out, I wrote about on Patreon, they put out a lengthy piece critiquing how Disney is mishandling Star Wars and talking extensively about The Acolyte, right? You've had Forbes going into detail about how The Acolyte has been mismanaged, right? And so, you don't have mass media coming out against this the last DEI proponent of the system, right? Like this. And talking about how it's not making money, how it's poorly executed, unless the system is already done. From just talking to people inside of Hollywood, my fellow screenwriters, people who are working, not a lot of people working, but the people who are still in the system, right? They're like, look, nobody on these shows is talking anymore about DEI initiatives. You got to make sure the character is this ethnicity or this sexual orientation or this identity. They're just not talking about it anymore because everyone is trying to survive a 30% collapse of the industry in the past year, and everyone's just trying to find a way to generate profitability for no reason other than their own personal survival. They may be incredibly sympathetic to these values of DEI and all this, but they what's more important to them is not being fired and being out of the game. It's musical chairs in this town, right? And so this thing is long gone. They will always give voice to it. They will always give word support to it in the press because they got to feel like good limousine liberals that they care about this stuff, right? But it's what you do in hiring, it's what you do in action at work. This town seduces by words, but actions speak louder than words. And so the fans have to stop being seduced by words.
Let's go to Jay Bermudez, Fletcher. You have power there? Let's do it. Can you read it for me?
JBB said $20. Can we assume at this point that Favreau has been getting more and more involved without a formal announcement with direct contact to Iger to become the James Gunn of Lucasfilm, or at least Star Wars, directing and in charge?
Well, I mean, I've been saying this on my Patreon for a long time. And the reality is the seeds for this for Jon Favreau's ascendancy into what you're describing was set in the Bob Chapek era. If you remember, Bob Chapek had actually made him like a conciliary, like giving him like, authority over all these Disney things, and then he got pulled. But so that's and then Iger comes back like, okay, I trust this guy to not screw up my life even more complicated than it is. And so so that's a position that Favreau has been working in, and I think that was finally solidified on a practical level. We're not talking about titles, we're not talking about public announcements, but on a practical level where power is executed. That was solidified after the failure of Indiana Jones, right? And I think the moment you can see where he had ascended is when you see his adversary, his rival, dethroned, which is that moment where Steven Spielberg embarrassed Kathleen Kennedy in front of everyone on the stage, where he didn't acknowledge her or her husband, who had been producing the movies going back to the very first movie. He just went right over them, and they looked embarrassed and angry.
That was embarrassing.
And that was the moment when she was finished.
On purpose. That
was on purpose. And the look on her face, she wouldn't even clap. She wouldn't even clap when she realized she wasn't getting the acknowledgement. She's just stormed off stage. That's not professional behavior. You keep your mask on. And she just froze. She didn't even clap. At least Marshall was clapping for John Williams. She didn't even do that. Her face went angry. That's not something you do publicly, but she didn't expect it, and she was humiliated, and she reacted poorly. And that was the moment where Favreau ascended completely, right? Because she's out, right, on a practical level. And so this is the reality of what he is. And no, I don't think he's going to be announced as the president of Lucasfilm moving forward. I don't think he wants that title, right? He's an artist. He's a filmmaker. He wants creative independence, right? But even if James Gunn wasn't announced as being an actual like executive within Warner Brothers right now, within the current structure, right? He'd still be that guy. He'd still be that guy because he's the guy, that they're all relying on to set the vision for Warner Brothers, particularly for this DC stuff moving forward. So power is about the person who holds the scepter, not the person sitting on the throne, right? And Favreau is already that. The fact that he's walking around today or this week, at the Lucasfilm offices where Kathleen Kennedy is not to be found, and telling people this is my plan for the post-Kennedy era. I mean, that speaks for itself. He's already there.
So you think he's like basically the stand-in Kevin Feige for the Star Wars universe without being announced?
But even more than that. I mean, Kevin Feige is in a weak position, right? And he got a little bit salvaged by this most recent movie with Wolverine or whatever, Deadpool, right? Because he took credit for something that really wasn't his call, that he wasn't in control of, but he took credit to survive, which is what you do. Whereas this guy is really very much the all intents and purposes boss of Lucasfilm. Whether he will ever take that thing, it's like, remember the Three Musketeer book, right? The great who's really in charge of the three? Who's the villain? You may remember it's Cardinal Richelieu, who was not actually the Pope. Cardinal Richelieu is not the Pope, but he's the one controlling all the countries of Europe.
Yeah,
right. He's the guy. So it's like Palpatine didn't have to become emperor. He was still in charge. He was in charge long before he was chancellor.
This is fantastic conversation here on the panel with Fletcher and of course the great Kamran Pasha. And I want to thank our mods, Fletcher, D-Bud, Sander, and Fletcher. How about that?
You want to thank Pete the Cat.
And Pete, yes, Pete the Cat's here.
So we should get the final scoop because I got about 5 minutes left. So
yeah, well,
promise.
Before we do that, I want to thank the people who have given us super chats and memberships. So this little video is for you guys. Gracias.
The low rider is a little higher.
Okay, and the fourth and final scoop, my friend, for today is a new Rogue Squadron-like script is being floated around now that it's more of an Iron Eagle in space. I loved Iron Eagle. I love that first one. Had that Queen song. Maybe they'll bring the Queen song back. One love, one heart, one squadron. Okay, what do you say in your thing? Let me read this for you. Finally, Sparrow says the new Rogue Squadron-like script is being floated around. More like Iron Eagle in space. than the previous scripts, with Wedge Antilles playing the mentor pilot. That's a hell of a lot to process, and my mind is still reeling from the download. Of course, these plans could all change and go in different directions over time. Okay, this is cool, man. I mean, this is cool. I was even liking Patty Jenkins, in her connection with her family, because they were a family of pilots. But she's out. I guess at this moment, Gina Carano's character is out.
For now, for now, until they resolve it.
Yeah. Let me finish. So, but you're saying what Sparrow's saying is that there's an actual script, that new script that has been written, or a script ideas, or just, is there anything in regards to an actual paper copy script? In your opinion,
I'm sorry. Say that again. Say that. Forgive me. I was answering someone in the chat.
Leave the chat alone while we're talking.
Some of them are very persistent. I know
love
this
you.
particular person is very
I
persistent.
love you, but leave it when we're talking. It's me and you.
I can't, brother. I mean, what can I do?
Know you got...
Some people won't leave me. Some people won't leave me alone, and they won't leave until their question is answered. So let's go on.
Your questions will. All your fantasies.
Well, we won't.
Listen.
So repeat, please.
Is this an actual script going around the Lucasfilm?
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Or is it a floating idea, or a?
My understanding it's a screenplay. It may be. Maybe it's. But my understanding there's a written document. My understanding there's a written document that's floating around that people have seen. I don't know who wrote it. I don't think my friend who wrote the original Rogue Squadron script wrote it. I know that when Patty announced that she was relaunching Rogue Squadron, he was like, I hadn't heard anything about this, right? Am I going to get paid, right? And using my script. And I've been kind of like, I don't know that I want to call him and say, hey, buddy, there's another script floating around, because maybe he wrote it, maybe he didn't. I'm trying to not get into an embarrassing conversation there, but I mean, that apparently there is some document floating around with that story, whether it's a script or a treatment. But Sparrow used the word script, and so it's not just words being said by mouth. Someone is floating around pieces of paper that have this idea, with Wedge Antilles, who's going to be the leader of this particular project. Which I think is great, because I think Wedge has never gotten the focus and the treatment that he deserves. He didn't even get the original. I mean, he's the only survivor of the first star, the Death Star, and he gets no credit for it. He didn't even get a medal.
Let me ask you this, because a script and a treatment are two entirely different things. If it's a script, that is at least half a year of development time with a said writer going away writing a script. Do you think that this is written by Favreau or one of Favreau's people? What are your thoughts on that?
Again, I don't want to speculate. I don't know who wrote it, especially because I know the writer of the original script, and I want to ask him whether he wrote it. Because I think it's just an embarrassing situation where if they've gone to another screenwriter, I just don't know. I don't want to speculate on it.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Because Sparrow threw a lot at you, and again, Sparrow calls you, tells you.
Yeah, they call me.
Right.
I sometimes reach out to them and I hear from this came out of nowhere. I didn't really know who Cal Kestis was.
No,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, this came to me.
Right. So I think this could be a lot of fun. Iron Eagle in space, that was always a cool idea. It's too bad the Jenkins thing didn't work out, but a lot of things didn't work out under the KK regime.
Yeah.
And you never know who might come back and direct. You just never know. Yeah. What are your feelings on this news that you got? And then we'll wrap it up with you.
Yeah, I mean, look, I just want things to be good. I hope that they end up going back to my buddy who wrote the original Rogue Squadron script. He's a very successful screenwriter. He's a very good writer. Those who've been on my Patreon, I posted pictures of myself and Matt. We have coffee every few weeks, right? And so, he's a very, very successful guy, and he's very good at what he does. And, he shared with me the development process with Kathleen Kennedy, and out of respect for him, I won't repeat it, right? But you can imagine. You can imagine what that was.
Peter Cat says Rogue Squadron looks pretty cool. It also has a Wolfman. What?
I don't understand that. Okay,
explain yourself. Horsebash for 5 euros. Thank you so much. Power doesn't need to have a title. You know who is the boss. And Cameron, thanks for sharing your writing method. It has helped me figure out a novel plot. Hey.
That's going to allow me to transition out because I got to go. So on my Patreon, and I plan to put it up today. Thank you for reminding me, Horseradish Powder. Number one, I'm happy it helped you. I post, my screenwriting tips, and I have an actual lengthy method that I use that I taught at Penn State last year that helped the students. I mean, but generally, the people who have used my method, and then you can also get screenwriting and novel consulting with me through the Patreon, have used it, have started winning film festival awards. They went from one good guy he had a script that needed worked with me using the method I describe here, and now they're actually winning film festivals. And it's remarkable to see how it went from one place to another because I helped them restructure it. Because my method is all about getting the structure of stories right. So please, those of you who would actually like help, who are aspiring writers, aspiring directors, aspiring novelists, because I'm all those things, come onto my Patreon and you can arrange a consulting session with me. It's worth the money and the time if it actually moves your career forward, and it's not just a waste of time. Yeah.
Osvaldo for $5. Ese Pali. No, we'll see, or time will tell. You are with Cameron or not? LOL. Just kidding. Other YouTubers come from a position of anger. Cameron is all logic.
I got some anger too. I mean, I haven't been treated that well by the YouTubers, and so I've got some anger, but I try to let my logic and also just common sense. We try to look at a bigger picture. That's what I think Latino Slant does very well. You try to look at a bigger picture, look at all the pieces. Like, we say, well, this is one thing, this one chess move has happened. I was like, well, what's the board look like? Oh, did you remember that thing that happened 3 months ago? You don't remember that. How does this movement compare to that? Oh, this thing that looks like they're surrendering is actually reinforcing that other movement from 3 months ago. You have to look at the bigger picture. And the problem is the economics of just modern fan reporting, whether it's on websites, YouTube, or other formats, right? The economics of it are just to focus on the moment to generate clicks and response. And so this narrative never makes sense, right? The same people who say Jon Favreau quit are 3 months later talking about, well, Jon Favreau is ruining this and that. It's like, well, I thought he was gone 3 months ago. Now he's back, and now you don't like what he's doing with Mandalorian, because there's no consistency in the narrative, because it's all trying to get your money for that moment. And so I'm hopefully, if you come and give me your $5 on Patreon, I'm giving you. So whenever you see on my Patreon, whenever I talk about anything that's happening, I'm like, here's the article from April. Here's the article from last year. I try to give you context to why events are happening. And I think they keep lining up with the way things go. Sometimes it takes time, but eventually I tend to be proven right. And when I'm not, I admit it. So come join me on the Patreon, and hopefully you'll get some actual benefits of rather than just emotional release.
All right, I think we're gonna let you go. I know there's a super chat here. If you see it I don't know if you want to answer it or not.
Is there a super chat? Let me just answer the last one. Is there? I mean, I can answer it. You'd have to ask him. He remains my friend. I will say this. I'm not afraid to say this. There are people that have asked him not to have me on, and I have not been on. And so, those are the people that resent me for a lot of reasons. You'll have to ask him, and have to ask my good friend Andre, who, people don't want me back on Midnight's Edge. It's not Andre. Andre and Doomcock and I are all friends, but they have to run businesses. So those of you who want me back, maybe you should ask these people, would it be of value to their channels to have me back? But
you know what I say? He's here on the Latino Slant and help the Latino Slant grow to other heights that we don't know. The Watch is supreme, because it's happening here, man.
And I'm happy to be where I'm wanted. I'm happy where I'm wanted in a place that shares my values.
And onwards and upwards. But thank you for the super chat, my friend. You did it, man. Look at you did it. You got and it's.
You did. I got to go. That's 12. I got to get out of here. God bless everyone. Stick around. There's a lot to talk about. There's politics. There's other information. You've given me a full hour of your time and meaning, but this show has a lot more to go.
We'll see you later. Have a good one.
Salam, everyone.
I'll hit you up this weekend.
God bless. Take
Peace. Care. Fletcher, wow, you're able to listen to all that and take it in?
I was listening to, a little bit in part and all stuff. Had to move a little bit, but yeah.
What do you think? Well, should we end the poll right now or just keep it going? We got 81 votes. We still got 117 people there going. Just leave it up for a little while?
Yeah. I mean, did you guys vote already? I mean, we did get a lot more people coming in. And
a lot of people here.
Cash in on that vote. And also cash in on subscriptions. I believe we need 4 more subscriptions to hit our goal for today. So if you can, please subscribe to the channel, become a member. You know what I mean? We need
Absolutely.
4 more members.
Yeah, because the thing is,
make our goal for today.
Right, because it starts at $2.99, and $2.99 you get so much, guys. Like I said, this past week you got the Joker 2 exclusive video. Then next Tuesday is the Paul Chato watch along party. That is going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so all right, well, we got topics. I'm going to let Fletcher decide the topic. All right, so here's what I got. Are Brits the best actors? It's pop news. News item. Ryan Murphy says the Menendez brothers will be out of prison by Christmas. Political, Harris and her shrinking share of Latino voters. Political, Mexican president wants Spain to apologize. So I'm going to leave it to you, brother. Where should we go?
Oh gosh, I guess let's do the. I guess I would definitely save the Mexican one for last because that one's just crazy.
Yeah, that's so what would you like me to go?
Let's go with the first one. Let's go with those Brits because I know that you were getting into it with some folks on Twitter.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
you guys don't know. Paulie's got a Twitter and it's spicy on it. So
we're starting
his Twitter, man.
Yeah, we're starting to
post more.
We're starting to get extra salsa on our Twitter X, channel. I want to make sure you guys are following me on Twitter. And let me see. Here we go. Let's bring it on up. There was a recent casting, speaking of Star Wars actors, John Boyega. Love him. I think he's a fantastic actor. Happens to be from Britain. And Danielle Deadweiler are set to portray the late soul legend Otis Redding and his widow Zelma in the upcoming biopic Otis and Zelma. So that was the post, right? Well, that was the news, Fletcher. Now I follow a bunch of different. I think variety is great. I follow all different types of people, and this Maverick had said, "I support John Boyega," but honestly. There aren't British stories y'all could tell. All the young Brits, because I know y'all view race identification differently, seem to want to focus on Black American stories. Stories y'all honestly can't connect with. I was like, whoa. So here's what I said, because I am African American. Hey, you know what? You put it up on X, people are going to respond. I said it's called acting. And Brits, Black and white, are the best trained actors of our times. That's why they consistently get hired. You got a problem with Hollywood's hiring practices, you're barking at the wrong people, Fletcher. Why bark at Boyega? Fletcher, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's one of these things to where people just kind of want to pick on certain things. We know that actors are from all over the world. We even talked about this, how a lot of the Latino actors that are acting in the United States are not necessarily from the United States, even though, the majority of the United States right now, even like almost the majority now are, Latino. So, but they're not really represented that much. So, what are you going to do?
Right. And go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
No, yeah. So I think that this, you touched on that word, it's kind of like going, yeah, this things happen. Sometimes, the best trained or the people who have the connections are going to get the part. In this, it feels like he's saying, hey, wait a minute, why don't they get Americans? And I know there's a lot of Americans, but I think your point where it's like, hey, you know what? They're very well trained and well connected. That's, sometimes that's the way things go.
So here's the point I'm making, right? In this era, in this generation, that's where the majority of the best trained actors are coming from. There and Australia, whether they're white or black, from Daisy Ridley to Boyega, Idris Elba, Daniel Kawano, I forgot how you say his name.
Nobody knows how to say his name.
He played MLK in Selma. Mm-hmm. He's not American actor. He's a Brit.
No.
I think it trips people out when they finally hear them talk. Oh my God, they're not American. These guys are highly trained. They go to school since they're like teenagers. they have already shown their master of diction and dialects. So my thing is always, okay, we know we're gonna get from the Brits, like, they're just gonna be executed, like I don't know what. Do American actors level up to that? Do you see Denzel, who's classically trained?
Right.
Who's the new Denzel that you can see can do British roles out of being an American black character, like Aldous Hodge? Can he do English accents? Can he do et cetera, et cetera? And the answer is, for me, at this moment, the Brits have the leverage. This is not like a racial thing. Don't make it more than what it is. And people in the comments in these comments came after me. I'm like, look, I'm just showing this, you guys, this is what's going on. Because generations ago, it used to be the opposite. Yale, Vassar, Harvard brought out the best actors. They're still doing that, but it's not at the high clip that it was. And let me tell you right now, that high clip back then used to include Viola Davis, Angela Bassett, Meryl Streep, Robin Williams, Christopher Reeves. So they threw those at me as examples. I'm like, your examples are old.
Mm-hmm.
And even Effie said, Nicole Kidman, Rachel Weisz, Naomi Watts, all have played American characters. I do not understand how the small part of Black Americans seem to have a tantrum every time they see an actor get a role. It's so pathetic. So people were getting into it. And I only kind of answered a few. Right? Someone said, I didn't know Angela Bassett, Denzel Washington, Will Smith, Lakeith Stanfield, Brian Henry, Viola Davis, or Terrence Howard were Brits. They even went on to add Sandra Bullock, who is American born, but she's German trained. Mm-hmm. First language is German. A lot of people don't know that. But all those examples, right? They're either from 2 generations ago at least, and they were all highly trained. Again, can Lakeith or Terrence Howard do a British accent? Do a character out of their nationality? I haven't seen it yet. There's very few American actors that you see do it convincingly, like a Robert Downey Jr. What are your thoughts? And we'll move on to the next.
Yeah, I think that you got to see, like, actors for actors' sakes, and part of the thing, I think it's some people think it's an issue, other people's don't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, would it be great if we can get American actors playing great American actors? Yeah, that'd be great. But someone in the chat also mentioned that it's sometimes it's because they have, like, credits, and they need somebody with like a name, you know what I mean? Somebody that's attached to the movie, to get something. Yeah, it was Rooftop. You also have to take into account that they might have to have a lead actor or other actors from that country in order to get the tax credit, in addition to having the production there. Because a lot of these films are, either produced or there's some kind of tax breaks. I mean, sometimes you think, oh, yeah, they're just doing it in Georgia. But they're doing it in Canada.
Do me a favor right now. Do me a favor. I'm gonna read some of these comments. Do me a favor. Look up. Do a search. American actors trained British actors, and look up if you can find news. Maybe the article, I think, is no older than 3 or 4 years ago. It was a great article that we want to share in regards to the state of American trained actors. There's no comparison now, guys. And that's what I was trying to tell these people. Right? I don't like it. I want American actors to be working, especially if they're like, Otis Redding. That guy's a Southern Georgia guy, Macon, Georgia. Pain in my heart. I'd love that. But these are the best actors of currently right now. British actors are definitely on a different level of talents because they're trained. Also, too, when you get something with highly trained, and Mexican Ironman's in the chat, when you get so highly trained, Mike, and highly professional, you're going to take them first because you know you're going to get the best work as to maybe some, Vato Loco actor or some, I'm using Vato Loco so I don't come across as racist. That you're gonna have a problem with. You don't want to have problems, especially if you have a budget on any level. Jonathan says the Brits are definitely among the best actors in the world. Pete, Brits are the best at everything. Ask your mom. Hot damn. Hi-oh. Soul Assassin. I remember most Brits are theater trained and Americans not so much. Punto final. Punto final. Johnny Gonzalez is here. He's a member of the channel. Hollywood needs more non-American movies, stories. Hollywood needs to make more. Well, and I said that in this chain, right? Because it got my quote got a lot of impressions. I'm trying to get out there more. And I said, look, when I said you're barking at the wrong people, I'm 100%. You need to bark at the showrunners, the executive producers, to create more original stories, whether based off of novels, new novels, or writers. That's where you got to go. Yelling and dogging John Boyega is not only offensive and ignorant, it shows you that you just don't know how the business works. Bonso says, I'm sure we could find an American to play Otis Redding who could act and sing, build a second wall in the Atlantic Ocean. Again, can they pull it off? Then are they are they a name value to where they can open up a territory to where a distributor will buy that movie? Most of the time, for now, it's not. There's very few that can open up that can get distribution sold that can open up in different territories. And what I mean by that, I'm talking pure DVD sales, video on demand sales in different territories. Tom Cruise, even a Danny Trejo. Danny Trejo can open up in different territories. He's got a new movie coming out. Probably going to go straight to VOD, but it's going to open up in different territories. It got sold. That's probably why it got made. Now, if you do this with a no name, then it takes on a different thing. And I'm all for that. I'm all for new people, new talent, but it's going to cost them somewhere else down the line. It's going to be made cheaper, or you probably won't even get to theaters, maybe just Netflix. This is the way it goes. If you wanted to get in a theater, you at least need a big name. British actors go beyond their ability to perform well-written characters. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. They have the pedigree, and it's known. And this is not new. It's just become something so part of Hollywood that it is very hard, and then we come back to Latino actors in the US. They're pretty much invisible because Hollywood is going to actors from Spain, actors from Latin America, actors from Mexico. We talk about this all the time. This is great conversation. Thank you so much. Fletcher, where are you at? You with us?
Yeah, I put it in the private chat. I don't know if that's one that you were looking for.
Let me see. This is it, man. This is it. I mean, let's share it and move on to the next one, but it's an article from Backstage. Let's share it in the chat. There's more than one reason why British actors are better than you. And you know what? What I will do, Fletcher, here we go. You guys can watch me be a little metiche. What do you think I'm gonna post this, guys? Let me see. What's the word I'm looking for? Huh?
Mischievous?
Mischievous. Thank you, my friend. What should I say in this post?
I know you are, but what am I?
what would marinate on this? This is my final word. I don't know. We can kick and scream all we want, but the proof, yeah, this is kind of mean, is in the what? Pudding? But the proof is in the ice cream or the pudding?
Well, you're the Latino slant, so that would be flan.
Okay, let's add the story and reply. There you go. There you go. Snarky slant.
Yeah, you're the mischievous Mexivious.
I love it. Mexivious. I love it. Well, Fletcher, you know what I love? You know what I love?
Then being mischievous? Yes.
I love new memberships.
That's right.
That's right.
And
let's bring them up.
Boom! Jillian gets this
Boom!
5 Latino Slam membership. Get a pass on roll today.
Jillian, thank you so much, Jillian. And who are our new members?
We got Ben Parker. He's just subscribed. Our new members are orthopedics. We got Kitty Bear. We got Max Relax. We got Goober. And we got Jonathan Butcher. Muchas gracias.
Okay, guys, all the new members watching this live or you're on repeat, you have new videos up right now, Jillian. New videos on the Joker 2. Right out of the theater, me and Rosa Para got into it with our feelings on Joker 2. That is an exclusive video just for the members. And then also, too, next Tuesday with Paul Chato, we got a watch party. It's a party. It's a party. So, you know, you have all that. I thank you so much. Flan is much better. Flan is dope. What's up, Corian? I love flan. Tres leches is for me. Ooh, I love tres leches. It's going to be time to eat real soon, guys. All right, what is next?
Well, next is we got Super Chad $4.99 Mexican Iron Man, and he goes Padres beat the Dodgers. Yes, and today is the feast of St. Francis, so St. Francis was a Padre, so who knows?
Don't bring in religion to this. Do not support the San Diego Smadres, okay? Hold on here. Because I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 Padres. How dare I? 4 Dodger bobbleheads I have. All right, looking at hats I got here. Let me make it big. I mean, you can kind of say that's my latest camouflage one. I got a Shohei Ohtani. You guys know my love for the Dodgers. Come on, it's not right. It's not right, buddy. It's not right.
We still thank you for the super chat.
We really thank you for the super chat. All right, let's move on to the next story. We have over 110 people still hanging out with us. This is awesome. Make sure you guys are members. Subscribe to the channel. We still have some great topics to discuss. All right, what's next? What do you want next, Mr.
Let's go with the next one. You had
Menendez brothers.
Yeah, the Menendez. Yeah.
Wow, have you seen this show? Are you allowed to see this show?
I don't know. I haven't checked it out yet. I know that a bunch of friends are watching it and really liking it. I know Struggles checking it out. You know, Nikki and all them. And I was looking at it because my wife likes, you know, some of the true crime. I just have to check what the sexual content it is. So
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
how much of it is.
It's it's there. It's there.
Right.
But in real time, in real life, District Attorney Gascon here is looking at new evidence into the Menendez case. Can you believe that? 35 years later, there's new evidence.
That's crazy. Well, there's always, some of these cases, because a lot of people, forget that murder cases don't have statutes of limitation. So,
Yeah, they didn't know they're still alive.
right?
That's kind of in the stories that how they're forgotten after the OJ cases and the riots. But this new evidence sparks creator of the TV show Ryan Murphy predicts Menendez brothers will be out of prison by Christmas. Ryan Murphy isn't planning a season 2 of Netflix's Monsters, but that doesn't mean he's completely done with the story. With news today in court that a court hearing is set for the Menendez sisters, District Attorney Gascon considers new evidence as they were allegedly molested by their father. Murphy may consider extending the season. I think I would be interested in doing it if the two actors would agree to it as maybe a 1 or 2 episodic that continues the story 35 years later. Can you imagine that? Wow, you talk about a sequel. Murphy told me Thursday morning. That's wild. Chavez and Koch, who are great as the brothers in this TV show. We just finished it last night.
Really good. Yeah.
Just finished it last night. Javier Bardem as the dad. Oh my God. Very, very dark. Star as Lyle and Eric respectively in the show, which chronicles the brothers' conviction and sentencing to life in prison without the possibility of parole in the first degree murder of their parents, Jose and Kitty Menendez, in 1989. A new hearing could eventually lead to a retrial or resentencing of Eric and Lyle, but Gascon said there has been no decision made yet. That's wild.
He's waiting to see the ratings.
Shortly after, Gascon is up for re-election too, and there's a certain there is a certain connection here, a Gascon Latino slant connection. We'll get to that in a minute. Gascon announced he was looking at the new evidence. Kim Kardashian published an essay demanding Eric and Lyle be released from prison. Kardashian and Koch visited the siblings in prison in San Diego this past September. Murphy co-created Monsters. What do you think about that whole Kardashian?
Yeah, that I guess that's another thing that people kind of forget, because Kim, the Kardashians, their father was a very famous lawyer who was in the Dream Team that helped get OJ out.
Right.
He's a very well-renowned attorney. They went nuts after he passed away, but that's
right.
It used to be cool.
Yeah. There is a very, very small kind of like a lapping of storylines where apparently OJ his character, you never see him, but you just see him get locked up. He sits right next to Menendez, who's been in prison for 3 years, and they have a conversation. That was wild. If that's true, that was wild, but it was definitely good television. Murphy co-created Monsters, first show Kardashian the show, about a month before it premiered on Netflix. She knew a lot about the case, and she grew up with it, Murphy said, but she didn't know a lot about the sexual abuse and immediately became very interested in helping them. So many people now are interested in the case, and it speaks to me about the power of television and what it can do. It can shine a light on something, and it can illuminate dark corners. When I first spoke to Murphy about Monsters last week, he says he wasn't looking to become an advocate for the brothers. I believe in justice, but I don't believe in being part of that machine. It's not my job. My job as an artist to tell the perspective of a particular story. I feel I've done that, but I wish them well. Today, he became an unexpected advocate due to the show's popularity and the rating. An influence it may have had on Gascon's decision. We gave them their moment in the court of public opinion. Basically, we give them We did give them a platform, Murphy said. I think they can be out of prison by Christmas. I really believe that. What?
Did they tell you what the new evidence is supposed to be? Or do they hint at it at the show?
No. In the show, in the show, there's two things in the show, guys. There's two things, okay? And we'll get to your comments in a minute. Let's start some Menendez comments. One is that yes, there was some extreme sexual abuse relationships with the father and the two brothers. They did not hold back on that. And two, they mention it and they bring it up that Menendez, the father, had an extramarital affair, but also two hired male escorts. And the connecting thing is here, that the father had signed Menudo at the time to the biggest RCA deal.
Right.
And recently, an ex-member of Menudo made allegations that he was abused by Menendez. So I don't know if that it's connected to this, that would be wild. That would be wild because, and I remember hearing about the Menudo thing last year because they came out with a documentary, how they were about their whole upbringing, about their, coming up, but also too, how they were abused, period, by, managers and stuff like that. But I didn't finish seeing the doc. After the doc came out, there, I believe recently there was this allegation. So you take that. Now, how do you have evidence of that? That's the tough part. You're going to need a corroborating witness, right? Like a relative or a member, or some sort of tapes or something that back up this claim. Now, how would that affect this case? It could affect it to where they get manslaughter, right? So that would mean time served, because usually manslaughter is, 30 years.
Well,
And even
not.
and even knocked down because of good time.
Well, the big thing with LA is because the prison overpopulation and all that stuff. You're definitely getting time served.
And they're married now. They have children. It's wild, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what are the comments we got?
Lion Supernatural Hunter Knight said that should stay in for life.
A lot of people agree with you, Liam.
I agree with you. She agrees with him on that one. Mars Monkey Max says, so the Menendez brothers went to jail for defending themselves? Question.
Well, okay, so the first trial was a mistrial. It was a deadlock, right? The jury had a deadlock, and they had a great lawyer. The second trial was a disaster for them because more evidence came out against them. Then one brother couldn't even take the stand because he got caught. He thought he was writing his memoirs. Lo and behold, the person that was recording his memoirs goes and does his own book, making him look bad. So the lawyer's like, I can't even use you, and you were my star witness, because he was great in the first trial. So they were screwed. The brother that was able to talk, take the stand, was horrible. Like, he was just nervous. He was just, it didn't look, it was so bad that they were found guilty. And they didn't get the death penalty. They got life in prison with no possibility of parole. All right.
Julissa says that I don't doubt Menudo was abused. Yeah, that was like old hat now. All that has been, shown off to the poor kids. So Bonzo says married and have children. Mind blown.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bonzo.
Yeah. I forgot which.
Out there, you got no excuse.
I forgot which brother it is, but the brother has a daughter, like a grown daughter now, who runs his Instagram, runs his campaign, like is the one really
runs his Instagram. Come on.
I'm just saying, man. I mean, I've been looking this up because me and Romy watched the entire television show. As far as television is concerned, I had a great time. And I'm going to be on Scribe Light's channel early tomorrow morning, checking that out. Okay. Cool.
Right.
So that is that. Man, we're moving along, man.
Yeah.
Moving right along. Da, 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 da. Remember that Muppets movie?
Yeah.
You know what? Why are there so many songs about rainbows?
What year was that?
That's the OG Muppets movie from 1979, dog.
Oh, no way. Yeah, that wasn't even in the country. It would have been singing in Spanish or Portuguese, and then I would remember.
No, I'm just trying to tell you, it was like classic cinema, man. He had Kermit the Frog singing that song. I think it's a Harry Nilsson song while he's riding on his bicycle, man. You see his little frog legs riding the bicycle. Come on, man. Come on, man. Okay. Right. Okay. We have two more to talk about. Two more, and we're gonna get into these are political. Righty. Let me clear the decks of and you guys are fantastic. Thank you. Got over 80 people still hanging out with us in YouTube. I thank you all so much. Daniel Larson, Monkey Mars Monkey, Carlos Bonso, Liam, Julissa, Daniel Larson, Soul Assassin, Penny, Tina Guzman, go Dodgers. Hell yeah. Thank you, Tina. I see you didn't star that one.
For what?
Fletcher. Her comments, he said, go Dodgers, man. That needs to be starred.
Which one?
Yay! Tina, member of the channel. Saturday, game 1, baby. Okay. I want to make sure.
Try this one.
Hey, I was ignoring that one. Don't be mean. I know we have to add. I'll go back and add all the people that were jerk. That was funny, man. We'll update this, but let's go. Where do we want to go? We want to go to Kamala Harris, or you want to go to the Mexican president?
Sure, let's go to well, actually, no. Let's go to, because even as bad as the Mexican president is, if you play her voice, I think it's a little bit more soothing than Kamala. So.
Well, we're not gonna play Kamala's voice. We're gonna go over some new stats.
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Okay. GOP analysis and analyzer.
Analytics, or what does it say?
You know what? It's right here. Look at it's right here on the thing here. On the thing here.
On the ticker.
Mike Madrid is an author of the Latino Century. He is a GOP political consultant, and he has put this damning new numbers up, saying we're now in a place in the race where we'll have to look for other pathways for Harris to win with a shrinking share of Latino voters. And he posts this up. Democrats are also losing the battle on immigration. A clear majority of Latinos say the border is not secure, and Trump has a 13-point advantage on securing the border and controlling immigration. All right. And they asked them, from what you've seen, can you see this? Yeah, you can see this. Okay, great. From what you've seen, read, or heard about the U.S. border with Mexico, would you say the border is totally secure, mostly not secure, totally not secure, or do you not even know enough about this to have an opinion? This looks like it is an NBC, Telemundo, NBC report, poll taken. 58% says it's not secure. These are Latinos saying that.
Yeah. And these are the Latinos that would probably vote for her. You know, NBC,
Probably.
MSNBC, Telemundo, you know.
That's what the Democrats have always relied on. But it's a new game. Now, I would like you to compare Kamala Harris and Donald Trump on a few issues and personal characteristics. For each one, please tell me whether you think that Kamala or Trump would be better. If you think both would be equally good or that neither would be good on a particular issue, just say so. Securing the border and controlling immigration. 47% Trump better. 34% Harris better. That is a differential of 13%. Fletcher, what say you on this?
No, I mean they're losing the plot to the people who used to cheer the most. You know, the MSNBC and Telemundo, you know, crowd are the cheerleaders, and to have them, you know, kind of turn away, it's very telling. Now, how much is that going to affect when, you know, you have controlled opposition of you know, shipped voters in? You know, that's the real kicker on this one, because, you know, a lot of the people that are coming in already, you know, already registered, already there. So you're like, I would like, I you know, I've seen some like the offshoot polls, like just asking people around the shelters, you know what I mean, the migrant shelters, and most of them are pro Harris. So they could be the tipping that nobody's polling, you know.
Well, I'm just going to say this real quick and we'll move on. But the fact that Mike Madrid posted this, it's not good. It's not good. I mean, a Democrat running for president in 2024, if you were to tell me a year ago, 2 years ago, that the Democrat presidential candidate 2024 would lose the Latino vote, and that not only lose, but that their vote, that their hold on them is shrinking to this, I would never have believed it. But this is reality. What do you guys think? Let me know. Wow. Okay, what do we got? People want a secure border, and I don't think they get that. Mars. Most people feel disenfranchised by the parties controlling the election process. I'm with you. I'm politically homeless on that one. When Democrats permanently lose Latinos or even half of Latinos, then they are toast as a party. I mean, that's really on the money. You cannot lose a Latino vote, man. That's on the money. Sanders she could even lose Virginia now. Really?
Yeah, I heard even like Pennsylvania, it's looking grim. And
well, Pennsylvania,
have a push on Nevada.
They're just making. So the way I see it, right, and you know, we're covering it. We're doing a lot of politics, and from what I've seen since she's taken over, is just a lot of mistakes, a lot of outreaching, and not getting anywhere. Then, of course, the mistakes with, you know, not doing interviews, not doing interviews well, not picking a strong VP. Then the whole flip flopping on the border, on the issues, really the issues. Then the kind of like inauthentic, you know, PR. It almost seems like a PR stunt, going to the border, going to the hurricane. It's like, I don't know if people are buying it, man. Are you buying it, Fletcher?
I've never bought it, but I think part of it is because they haven't seen her at all. You know, she hasn't really been an active VP throughout the whole administration, and now all of a sudden she's like everywhere, but nowhere at the same time. You know, because she's like just picking here, picking there. It's kind of like just showing her face and then and exiting out. So in a sense, it feels like she's just, you know, like flighty because there's so many things that are happening all at once, all over the world and across the US. And she's kind of just like tidbits here and there. So there's not enough time, I guess, for people to even catch a glimpse of her doing something, you know what I mean? And plus the question is, what has she been doing if she was in charge of this part of the administration? So,
well, you're absolutely right. And, you know, they because they got rid of Biden, which was so that really didn't sit, still doesn't sit well with me how they did that. Because and then Biden, look at the numbers, he's actually a better candidate, right?
he's actually trending up. He was actually trending up.
He was
yeah.
actually trending up. Pobrecito, right?
Right.
But listen to me, it's clear he doesn't know where he's at. He didn't even know what storm was happening. I mean, I feel for that elderly part. Okay, she had to be perfect, and she's just not a good candidate. That's all it is. That has nothing to do with her being a woman. Has nothing to do with her being a mixed race. That's ridiculous. It's just that she's not a good candidate. They've tried to manufacture the fact. Hollywood has gone all out to manufacture that she is the second coming. Man, you guys should have stuck with RFK Jr. I mean, if you know, but the fact that you took him out of the Democratic primary process, now you're getting his reckoning there. And I've invited Mike to come on and give his opinion. He's going to be coming on in a minute. Mexican Iron Man is going to be joining us in a minute, guys. Give his opinion. But there's so many things that where they've gone wrong. Then you have this natural disaster that happens. And listen, whether they handled it well on the ground, that's one thing. But where's the money to help these people? It's gone. Correct, Fletcher? It's gone. Horseradish says, Brit here, Trump 2024, bring back the God Emperor. Oh my God. Wow. I think we need the opinion of Mexican Iron Man. Hey, I'm waiting for you to come on through. But this is a real problem in regards to this natural disaster that has happened. Boots on the ground that, you know, they're trying to control the information as far as people being rescued and what's really going on, how many deaths, the death toll, how they're handling stuff, which I hear is really bad. And they're trying to control and even imprison people that American citizens that are just trying to help out fellow American citizens, fellow Americans. That they're trying to imprison people, so they're trying to control that. That's terrible. I mean, thank God they let Elon and this, was it Starlink? They let Starlink happen, which can, you know, you can keep those lines of communication going. But then there's this thing of $750 to per family, or is it per person? Correct me, guys, in the chat. But that's really, really awful, because you've seen the destruction. You've seen that destruction. But that's all they're officially offering through FEMA. Now FEMA is out of money. People affected by the hurricane are getting nothing. Trump has multi-million-dollar GoFundMe for storm victims. Is that getting to people? I think Democrats stole the election knowing that Biden was on the decline. Hillary's been running the country for 4 years in the back. Well, someone is. That's not Biden. Maybe for a while it was the Biden family, along with the Democrats. But it's obvious because we were asking like before this hurricane disaster, where's Joe? Thank God the longshoreman strike got tabled till January. But where's Joe? Who's running this? Is it Kamala? Who's running who's running this joint? Who do I got to talk to? Who's the boss? So there's this. So going back to shrinking share of Latino voters, are you really surprised? I'm seeing a lot of people on the left that are in shock. Okay, got one more item for you guys. Mexican president wants Spain to apologize. I apologize. Do you apologize? I apologize. Do you apologize? There's two things to this. This first female president, Mexico, just got inaugurated. And there was a whole stink of the ceremony that happened. Let's put it up. This was a ceremony a couple of days. The sacred ceremony from indigenous Indians. Okay, indigenous populations, an indigenous ceremony.
Invocamos a los nahuales, a las deidades y a los demás seres y espíritu divino que habita este lugar. Pedimos vida, iluminación y sabiduría para la presidenta constitucional, doctora Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo.
Okay.
Invocamos a los nahuales.
So this is a Nahuatl ceremony. Nahuatl is the Nahuatl people. It's a language and it's a people, particular tribe of people that eventually became the Aztec Empire. Not everyone's Nahuatl, but it's the most popular, most used Nahuatl language in Mexico. So that's where they're going with this. I don't have a problem with this. I actually have no problem with this. This is part of Mexico's collective history. And that was literally it was trampled on by the Spanish conquistadors, and they try to kill it out, right? And it didn't happen. You always had the Indios. They always secretly practiced their pre-Columbian religions. I have no problem with that. I'd be a hypocrite if I told you that.
A las deidades y a los demás seres y espíritu divino que habita este lugar.
Asking that the divine feminine power comes here.
Pedimos vida.
We ask for life,
iluminación,
illumination,
y sabiduría.
And like a
para la presidenta constitucional.
Sabiduría is like a richness, a taste, or something for this president.
Doctora Claudia.
Dr. Claudia Sheinbaum. So what this lady is saying is like we ask the divine energy. It's very feminine centric. Hey Mike, what's up? So it's I don't know what that has to do with being Nahuatl or a Nahuatl ceremony. Nahuatl ceremony wouldn't be talking like that. They're gonna burn sage. They're gonna do some dances, and you move on. So I like the Nahuatl part of it. I'm not too crazy about what she was saying. Mike, you have any ideas? Any takes on this?
I just want to say that I brought some additional Hispanic representation. We have a real Chihuahua, or at least a 50% Chihuahua. Sadly, Bambino is not a purebred Mexican because his father was patriarchy Yorkie that one night oppressed his Mexican Chihuahua mom, and that's why we have Bambino, who is a Chihuahua Yorkie Chorky. So Bambino is only 50% Mexican indigenous, but yeah. So on behalf of me and Bambino, we thought we'd add a East Coast perspective. I want to offer as reparations to the conquered indigenous peoples. I have 3 quarters, 75 cents. Okay. 75 cents to the indigenous peoples. I'm wearing a blue hat today. So since the Democrats are only going to give $750 to people struggling in my region of the country, I've decided that the indigenous brown folks should get 75 cents. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
First of all, it's great to see Bambino in good spirits, good health.
Yeah, and it's great to see Mexican Iron Man too, right, Paul? Hello?
And it's great to see Mikey, the Mexican Iron Man, who is not a YouTuber.
Nope.
And how you been, brother?
Hold on, let me get on my correct hat. There we go.
You gotta get the red on. Make cigars great again. What are your thoughts on the Latino vote shrinking? You saw the numbers.
Well, let's start with the president. Let's start with the president.
You want to go back to the president? Okay.
Okay. Well, that was your most recent thing. So let's start with the president. My viewpoint on the Mexican president lady is twofold. Number one, I don't know why she's making speeches, and I don't know who elected her, because she needs to be back in the kitchen making me tortillas, because my carne asada is not going to wrap itself.
I don't know if she.
Second of all, she is such a hypocrite, because if you look at the color of her skin, she wouldn't even look the way she does if she didn't have Spanish good looks. Hint, newsflash. The native indigenous people of the North Americas were not the hottest, most smoking, good-looking people, okay? We did not all look. She's light-skinned. She's light-skinned. She's light-skinned. She's speaking Spanish. And if I feel bad for anything, I'm going to shout out to, who's in the chat? Daniel?
Yeah.
Daniel Larson in the chat. Yeah, the biggest crime that's been committed here is our Spanish forefathers couldn't keep this empire going, and they've now allowed Mexico to sink into the drug-infested hellhole of political corruption that it is. You see what happens when we let go of our European daddies and mommies and they leave our indigenous selves to our own? Shit goes to hell in a handbasket.
Okay, let's listen to this, what she has to say real quick.
Lo que se merece. ¿Qué hacen los grandes hombres y las grandes mujeres? Pero ese perdón, y lo digo ahora porque viene a cuento y es importante para que nos escuchen en cualquier lugar del mundo. El perdón engrandece a los pueblos, el perdón engrandece a las naciones, el perdón engrandece a las personas. Significa reconocer, y al reconocer significa nunca más, significa no olvidar. Y nosotros no olvidamos lo que ocurrió con sus ancestros, con el pueblo yaqui.
Oh, for God's sake.
Mikey, this is the first thing that she's...
You know what happened? You know what happened with my ancestors? Okay, so for those who don't speak Spanish in the chat, she's basically talking about how she feels sympathetic and empathetic to what happened to the ancestors. Okay, so speaking on behalf of one of the descendants over here. Okay, hi, Mexican Iron Man over here. Hello? Yes, I'm going to speak on behalf of myself. Oh, by the way, let me do this. The comments and statements issued by Mexican Iron Man on today's podcast are solely the responsibility and opinions of Mexican Iron Man and not the opinions of Latino Slant or the average Chicano in general or anyone on YouTube unless they are hardcore MAGA. Okay, let me continue on. That's so that you don't get struck and you can always disown me when you talk to your other Chicano political friends. All right, let me give you a hint. Mexican Iron Man does not, okay, it was so awful hundreds of years ago when me and my people were either down by the river in a teepee, and look, Mexican Iron Man does not want to get up in the morning and wait to go hunt salmon in the river or go on a buffalo hunt. Okay, like it was not that great living. Okay, we had to skin our own buffalo, we had to dry out the skin, we had to make our own teepees, then we had to go on a buffalo or a salmon hunt, and then for a whole week out of every month, our women were in the minstrel teepee, and we couldn't even get access to our own women. Times were rough, people. And if
what tribe are you talking about?
any of them in North America. Now, if I go to Aztec and Maya, bro, there was no heating or there was no working AC in them freaking pyramids, okay? I'm like, oh my God, the pyramids are amazing. No central air conditioning, okay? There was no thermostat. So that stone was either really cold and in hot days it was really hot.
Okay.
All right? I'm just saying. Now here I am. Now fast forward. Spaniards, we're going to go real fast. Daniel Larson,
Real
help
fast.
me in the Daniel, help me in the chat. Keep up. All right, Daniel will help me. Daniel's going to help me out. He's not a member yet, but I'm going to log in. I'm going to make him a member. All right. All right, everybody keep up. So a few hundred years go by. We're conquered. There's some improvements. Fast forward. Now, because of the Spaniards' direct actions, if we just trace the lineage now, we now have a Mexican on Hilton Head Island whose backyard is hole number 10 of the Hilton Head Golf Course. I'm a member of the country club. And guess what? I do not live in a teepee. And I have, guess what? On the wall, you see the thermostat, and I have central AC. So
amazing.
I would say that this whole like getting conquered by the Europeans thing worked out for me.
That's it.
Okay, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Hashtag Team España. Hashtag Team No Apology. Hashtag Arriba. Arriba, Arriba, Andale. Yeah. I don't need no apology. Nope.
No.
Nope. The AC works great. So shout out to my Spanish conquistador brothers and sisters. I mean, look, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm half Native American. Look at my skin color. I'm obviously half Native American and half Spanish because I'm Mexican. All right, so if these are my reparations, do I take them from one pocket and put them in my other pocket? Because it's the same pockets here.
I can't speak to how ridiculous what she did on her first day and what she's asking. And this goes back to a few years ago. Her predecessor in 2018 or 2019, I believe, first asked for an apology from Spain.
Right. And Carlos Alfredo Lopez gets it. He's like, there were no automatic stairs in the pyramids. We had to walk that crap. Where was the escalator? When I travel through the airport, when Mexican Airman travels through the airport through many United States cities, there's now an escalator. Thank you.
Hey, let me let speaking of dogs, since Fletcher, you guys are here, let me give me a second. I'll be right back.
All right. Fletcher, do you hear what I'm saying or not?
Yeah, I kind of heard that. I was in and out a little bit because my wife was just talking. But so basically, did he play the apology?
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta highlight Daniel's last comment to me. Can you click on it? Because I'm not an admin in this channel anymore because I got fired. Only
man, we gotta rehire you.
Mexican Iron Man, on behalf of my Danish, German, Scotch, and English ancestors that built the U.S., you're welcome for that AC on Hilton Head. Yes!
That's how we do it. Boom.
Yeah, and like Soul Assassin says, there was no ice.
What?
Like, how would Mexican Iron Man make a margarita or a double scotch on the rocks while he's in his teepee down by the river if there was no ice?
Well, sometimes Popocatépetl will have ice on the top, so you would send your maidens up to chip your ice to make your margarita. You know,
maidens.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm gonna ask for reparations. That's gonna happen.
Hold on, I think I can finally gift memberships on this channel. Oh,
that's how we do it. What?
Okay, so I see what happened. I haven't been able to do memberships for like 3 weeks. I just figured out what the problem was. It's my payment method. It doesn't like PayPal. It wants a credit card.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
All right, so let's shout
Mexican
out
Iron Man. Woo!
Bring him up.
Gifted
Doc Fortuna. Bring him up.
Latinos land memberships.
Yeah, Doc Fortuna just is a member. Next one. Just Joe has become a member. Baron Bob Iger becomes a member.
Yeah, that's a great name.
Agnes Flo is a member. Me and my monkey are members. Wait a minute.
Thank you so much, guys.
Daniel? Hold on. How did Daniel not get one? Daniel, do you have your memberships turned on? How did you not get one? And Carlos didn't get one either. Doggone it. Hold on. Let me do this again. Hold on. We're going to do this again. Let's see if I can get more people.
Let's do it.
You guys turn on your memberships.
You got to turn on your membership. He's going to make it
I'm
rain
gonna
right
do 5
about
more
now.
right now since I haven't been able to do any in the last 3 weeks. Let's do another 5.
Let's do it. All right.
Let's see what happens
Mexican
now.
Iron Man making it rain on the slant.
I'm trying. Ironcaster got one. Chad got
Oh.
one. Zarupa got one. Hassan Chavez got one. VJ the Vigilant got one. I missed him again. All right. Well, I don't know. Carlos and Daniel, I tried. I don't know. You guys got to turn your stuff on.
You got to turn on your notification, guys, so you guys will get
Or you
get a
know what's
membership.
probably happening? You know what's probably happening because YouTube? Daniel is expressing opinions that are contrary to the woke establishment, and Daniel's pro-Spanish content commentary is being suppressed by the YouTube overlords.
So you're saying there's he's getting suppressed by the algorithm?
Yes, Daniel is being suppressed, and so is Carlos, even though they're Latino, because they don't identify as Latinx. All right, Paula, guess what? My memberships work. I just gave you 10.
Oh man, thank you so much.
I figured out what it is. You know what it is they don't like PayPal as a default method, so I put in a credit card and it worked fine.
Wow, man. So I had to let the dogs up, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Davey
Fletcher.
Martin says, try gifting 100 memberships just to make really sure it's working. Okay, how about, hey, David Martin, how about you zip it and you go back to that woke university called UC Berkeley, where you belong.
Ooh, spicy takes. Yeah.
So
well, I don't know, Mike.
Go ahead.
No, because I was telling Mike that it wasn't just like the apology that she wants. She wants to change the language because now she also wants to be presidenta with like an A, like, you know, so they're doing this capital A at the end stuff that it's, you know, completely non-grammatically proper because, you know, even if you're president or not, it's used to be presidente, but
I mean, I want to know. I don't even want to know what my indigenous or her indigenous language would be. First of all, she's too light-skinned to have an indigenous like language.
She has no indigenous. She's Jewish.
She's European.
What the fuck is she talking? Oh,
her grandparents are Lithuanian.
Yeah.
What?
Lithuanian Jews. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not even like been there for like generations and generations.
You Mexicans elected Lithuanian Jews to be president of your country. Yeah, oh, okay, you know what? I am here to officially, Paulie, everything I'm about to say, you can disown. Mexicans have got to be the politically dumbest people on the freaking planet in the U.S. and south of the border. I mean, literally, we are the dumbest. Let's start with the Democrats, since we were talking about that earlier, or you were talking
Let's
about
go,
that.
yeah.
All right. So I'm dying to find out what's so great about Democrats that U.S. Latinos keep wanting to vote for them, because nothing to me makes sense. How about this? Let's start with the easy one, the number one run, right? Abortion. Here, fun fact. More young Latinas have more kids before being married or being of legal age than any other group, period. I mean, Latinas being pregnant, like in their teens, is like freaking pancakes at IHOP or at the Waffle House. It always happens every day. So don't give me the shit that Latinos are pro-abortion and shit, because we're not. Number two, liberals hate religion and hate Christians, and now we know hate Jews. We now know they hate Jews. Latinos overwhelmingly, whether it's fire and brimstone crap with snakes and like loud banda in Spanish, or it's the Roman Catholic Church, we're pretty religious. So that has nothing to do with us. So why are we aligned with them? Makes no sense. And when we get to things like economic opportunity, we're already at the bottom of the economic totem pole. When you think gardening, landscaping, and pool cleaning, who do you think of? My people, because we do it better than anybody else, including drywall. I mean, we just do. We're hardworking. We have we don't exactly sit around waiting for government handouts. That's not our shtick. The average Latino, Chicano, Mexican, whatever it is in the U.S. is a hardworking guy or gal that doesn't care that whether you've got a GED or a PhD, works their ass off and doesn't like getting government handouts, except and only when it's absolute necessary. So that doesn't cast. So that doesn't have anything to do with anything. The only thing I can think of that makes Latinos align with Democrats is education. Democrats want to destroy education, and the average Latino in the U.S. doesn't give a crap about getting educated. We drop out faster. sooner than any other people, and we don't go to college, and we don't finish college, and we don't tend to get jobs that an education is required. That's statistical fact. Now, I'm being sarcastic as hell, but I'm also being accurate. So I'm dying to know what is so great about, what is so evil about being conservative. What is so evil about and not great about being conservative, and what is so amazing about Democrats? I'm just trying to understand.
Can I ask where you got all your facts? Can I ask your source?
Oh yeah, you want me to start bringing them up on screen?
No, I did. I mean, you spewed out a lot.
Yeah, because I was a hardcore.
Where do you get your facts?
I was a hardcore leftist, Democrat, social community, grassroots activist for 4 decades. So I would regularly raise money I would regularly raise money to say that my people need your money for schools. My people need your money to move our people forward. I would be doing presentations up and down all over the West Coast for damn near 4 decades, singing the statistics of why my people were downtrodden and why we needed your money and your special programs. When in the end, I realized after 4 decades, it was all a lie. Because none of these programs and electing Democrats doesn't help my people one iota. We help ourselves. But that being said, if you want some statistics, I'd be happy to bring them up on screen.
How did you get into higher education? You didn't get a helping hand at all?
I had a 3.8 GPA in high school.
Okay.
Boom.
So then, why were you a Democrat?
Because I was brainwashed by my parents before me.
Well, then that's the answer. Then they're still brainwashed to a certain degree, but
there's a reason why we're brainwashed, though. And I have, and here's why I think we're brainwashed, and it's a very, 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 very good reason. And it was the most ridiculous mistake that Republicans have ever made, which was, I'm going to bring up a guy named Governor Wilson. Remember that name? When he and the Republicans decided to go English only in the state of California, that pissed off every single Latino in the state, and I think it affected the next 3 generations, including me. You remember that?
Wow.
Prop 187?
Yep.
Yeah. Go on.
No, that's it. I think that was a major mistake that they made. I think they pissed off a whole community. Like you like, what's the most personal thing you have? Your language, your communication, right?
See.
And so when they went with that proposition to abolish Spanish in the state, which was what, in the early to mid 80s, wasn't that when that happened?
187 was like in the early 90s, man.
Well, whatever it was, whatever it was. I'm just saying, like, I think that pissed off what little support they had at the time for Hispanics might have had for being conservative was killed off by that.
Yeah, it pissed me off.
Well, did it piss you off?
Oh yeah, I marched against 187 big time.
Me too. I set on fire pictures of Governor Wilson. I was out in the street setting that stuff on fire.
Yeah, we called him Pito Wilson.
Exactly. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
Yep. It was insane, man.
Yeah,
but from between now and then, what leaders do we have? We don't even have leaders.
We have Joe Biden, and you need to have faith in Joe Biden because he's going.
I mean, Latino leaders.
Oh, sorry, I was being sarcastic.
Yeah, I don't even think. I mean, he might think he's Latino. Last year, 4 years ago, he thought it was black.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come on, Jack.
Come on, man. So the numbers though are showing that a lot of Latinos have woken up and this. What do you think about that, man?
Well, I don't know. Hopefully we not only wake up, but we actually vote.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Since 2011, and I'm reading statistics from the CDC, Hispanic teens have higher rates of teen pregnancy than any other racial or ethnic group in the United States. More than half of all U.S. Latinas in the U.S. become pregnant before age 20.
No.
In dating back to 2006, the pregnancy rate for Latinas in this age group was nearly double the national average for all other racial and ethnic groups.
No.
Now,
how we do it.
some
But
would ar-
Mike,
some-
that's racist.
well, it is racist, but it's also accurate. Now, there's some people in the chat that are going to accuse Mexican Iron Man, my very existence, for increasing these numbers, and I say there's no proof.
Right. He likes blondes.
Right.
That's
Oh my God.
Exactly.
true facts coming out right now.
True
I got
facts coming out.
statistics
Mexican
too,
Iron
Mike.
Man in high
I got
school.
statistics too.
In high school, Mexican Iron Man was with blonde girls whenever he could.
Le gustan las güeras.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
Uh,
great insight as always, Mike.
Hey, I just came in here to send some memberships. So my work here is done. I've given my political opinion. Thanks for having me. But here's the good news. After 3 weeks of not being able to send you a membership, I am now back online, baby.
I really appreciate it. Can we bring up the new members?
We already did that when you were letting the dogs out.
Oh, while I was gone, you guys shouted them all out?
Yeah, all 10 of them. All 10 of them. And let me make my pitch as I go out the door. To those of you that got a free membership, let me say this. How long have I been a member here, Paulie? 4 years? 3 years? How long have we been here doing this?
We've been here now coming up as memberships coming up on 4 years.
4 years. All right. Paulie is one of the few channels that actually, for their members, gives you a lot of value. He does stuff. He does videos. He does access. He does giveaways. He actually gives a crap about memberships. They're not just some number to just put up on the board so that he has more and more and more and more and more. He literally values each and every membership. So for those of you that got a free one, consider converting that free one into a regular one. And for those of you that are already regular members, thank you. And consider upgrading. Membership has its privileges at the Latino Slant. So with that, thanks for having me, boys.
Thank you, Mike. I'll talk to you later. Love you, man.
Love you both. Thanks for all the great work you do. And remember, in the beginning, I was still your first viewer. Yeah,
that's right. We're not doing so bad now, are we?
No, I'm very proud of you, man. It's been a great journey and a great ride, and you're doing great. And I know I'm not always on the show anymore like I used to be, but I'm always watching what you do and watching your videos. So thanks for all you do, because for all my MAGA smack talk, aside, is that from a cultural standpoint and another intellectual standpoint, you add a great amount of value and provide access to all kinds of things in Hollywood that the average layperson like me would have no clue about if it wasn't for you. So thank you, bro.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, chat. Thank you, members, new members, subscribers. We're gonna do a hard. Oh, he was saying goodbye. There you go. Fletcher, you got anything to say? We have to end this this poll here.
Oh, the polls are going. Oh, cool.
Poll's still going on.
All right, poll. What's the polling at poll?
Okay, let me bring it up. Are you back home?
No, we had to come back because I forgot they had another meeting, so I had to turn around. So now I'm back in the parking lot.
All right. Are you excited for Cal Kestis? The winner with 32%. Yes, the force is strong.
Ooh.
24% in second place. No, Night Sister Twist. Third place, 24%. Ooh, well, that's tied.
Right,
maybe Love the Games.
Right.
And then last place, 19%. We got Caliman at home. 103 votes. There you go.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Well, this kind of goes with what Mr. Pasha was saying, that there's still that hope, a new hope, a new hope.
A new hope.
Just as long as it's not New Hope Pardue.
No. Thank you, everyone in the chat that's still hanging out with us. I mean, we had a lot of people coming out. Oh, saw Joker 2 earlier today. I'm still pissed. Sorry, just have to vent. I'll shut up now. No, I'm pretty upset about it as well. I do not recommend that film. I don't recommend it. Thanks, guys. You're welcome. Thank you. Hey, Steph. D-Bud, thanks for helping out today, man. Thanks, everyone. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Woo-hoo.
Adios,
Nice.
y'all. Fantastic, guys. Okay, I'll be on Scribe Light's channel tomorrow in the 8 a.m. Pacific time on his channel, talking about Menendez. And then on our show Monday night with filmmaker Kenneth Castillo, Tuesday night with the members and Paul Chato. All right. Hard goodbye. Wherever you're at, keep your slam fuerte. Gracias. Adios.
Adios.